inviting me. Thank you to the organizer. The work that I will present today is a work on temporal matching. So this is joined with Binmin and Antoine. So as expected, I will speak about temporal graph. As this is the first talk of the day, I will spend some time to just explain what we are talking about. So a temporal graph for me will be a collection of graphs on the same vertex set that will be indexed with time. There is no constraint because between the graph on time 1 and the graph on time 2, everything can change from one time to the other. No problem with this. And there is a lot of way to represent and consider the temporal graph. This is the one that I will use. And there is some example of used temporal graph. So one of the example will be just to say if you have a company and you consider the emails that are sent from one person of the company to another, and you count all the messages that are sent in one day, then this will give you a graph between where the vertex are the people and the edges are whether there were a message sent between two person. And this will be a graph for one day, and then the next day you will have another graph. There is no reason that it will be similar to the previous. Is that a temporal graph? One of the known example is Enron email database. It's a company with 150 users and half a million messages recorded for this. Another example of temporal graphs that is used in is RollerNet. So here it's a rollerblading tour in Paris. So people are in the blading tour and they all have a watch. And every 15 seconds, the watch is detecting which participants are next to you. And the graph that will be generated every 15 seconds is this graph where you are the center of the graph. Each participant is the center of one disk, and the connection are whether you are next to other participant. And again, there is no reason to have similarity from one time to another. But for the rollerblading tour, then there is a bit more reason. I mean, if you are next to someone, there is high probability that you will stay with this person for some time. So the problem that we consider in this talk is matching problem. And the idea was to extend the notion of matching that is a classical notion in graph. And we wanted to extend this notion of matching to temporal graphs. And the question is, how can we do this in an interesting way to do this? Because, I mean, if we say we want a matching that is where the edge that you consider will be available at any time and induce a matching, then what will happen is that you will just be considering the matching problem in a normal graph, but in the intersection graph. So you just have to know how to solve matching, and this is well known. But you have to consider a really specific graph that will be the intersection graph of all the graph of your temporal graph. So this is not really interesting to consider. So another way to do will be to say, okay, I want a matching, but I will take edges at any time. But the only point that I want is that the edges of the matching should not one vertex should not be in two edges of the matching, whatever the time you are considering it. But if you do this, then you are just doing the matching problem on the union graph. So again, this is not really interesting. And another way that I can present is to say, I want a matching, and at any time this should be a matching, but this is the only constraint that I want. But this is only doing the matching on the Dijon union of graph. So everything, all this is to say that there is a lot of way to extend the matching problem to a temporal graph, but the ones that I just present you are not really interesting because it's just going back to the classical matching problem in graph. So what we offer is to say, we will generalize the matching problem in the following way. We do not consider an edge anymore, but what we are going to consider is a gamma edge. And what is a gamma edge? A gamma edge is an edge, like the red one, that will exist during several consecutive time. So, for instance, here I am considering two edge. The red one is a two edge because it exists during two consecutive time. The green one also exists during two consecutive time, and the blue exists during two consecutive time. And the goal of the gamma matching problem will be to be able to find a matching. So a set of gamma edges such that at any time, what we have is a matching. So here, this is a matching. In time 2, it's a matching. In time 3, it's a matching also. And this will be our problem. And if we extend the matching problem in this way, then our problem is not polynomial anymore. What we show is that the problem became NP-hard as long as gamma is at least 2. So this is quite surprising because all the matching is known to be polynomial, and here we are NP-hard. And let me show you how we prove this. This is not really hard. So if we have a formula, so the reduction is from 3 sat, and if we have a formula, let's say W bar X Y bar and W bar or X bar or Z. And we will consider gamma is equal to 3. So what we do is we consider 8 number of times. So it will be gamma time the number of clauses plus 1. So there is 2 clauses, so 3 times 3. So we consider 9 element of time. So the time is discrete. This I haven't said it, but the time is discrete. So now I will, for each variable, I will add some vertices, x minus, x, and x plus. And I will represent like this. So here it's the vertex x at time 0. Here it's a vertex x at time 1, and so on and so on. X minus at time 0, x minus at time 1, x. And now the edge that is here will be the edge between x and x minus at time 0. So for this example, I connect x and x minus, and I connect x and x plus at every time. But what I will do specifically is that for each clause, for the clause number 0, I will add x 0 plus and x 0 minus. And for the clause number 2, I will number 1, I will add the vertex x1 plus and x1 minus. And what I will do is that I will add 3 consecutive vertex in time with, I will connect x plus to x0 plus at time 1, 2, and 3. So during 3 consecutive time, because gamma is 3. And I will connect x minus to x0 minus for at time 1, 2, and 3. So, and 1, 2, 3 will be the time where I will solve, let's say, the close 0. And then 4, 5, 6, it's the time during which I will solve the close number 1. And so x0 minus will have no connection at time 0, no connection at time 4, 5, 6. And so that's why I do not draw x0 minus at other time. And the idea behind this construction is the following. If I put color, if I want to select gamma edges in this construction, I will have to select either everything blue or everything red. If I do any other selection, then I will not. I will do a worse selection. So either blue, but if I select all blue, then I know that the vertices x0 plus and x1 plus will be available for other matching if needed. And if I select all red, then I know that the vertices x0 minus and x1 minus will be available for other selection. And that's how we will say whether we select x positively or negatively. So I do this for x, but of course I do this for all other variable. And now I will add one specific vertex, that is C. Here for readability, I will not draw the edges that go from C to other, but instead I will just circle the vertices. So here, W, in the formula, it's W bar. So I connect W0 minus to C. And this is why I circle them. And in the second, I will connect W bar also. So I will connect W1 minus. And again, for plus, so X appear positively. So I connect the X0 plus with C. And if I do this, then I will do one selection. Here I say either I take all blue or red. So I draw everything in red, but you see that I take all this. And if I look at Y, I see that Y0 minus is free to be used for something else. And here the something else is the edge between X0 minus and C. And this is how I will detect that the clause number 0 is solved, is satisfied, because I consider Y negatively. And the clause number 1 is satisfied because I consider Z positively. And so my solution here will just be in front of this. So here, this is how we solve, we show that gamma matching is NP-hard. And so the next continuation is naturally to say, if my problem is NP-hard, how can I solve it efficiently? So in normal graph, we know that any matching is a 2 approximation. What happened is that in temporal graphs, any gamma matching is a 4 approximation. So here is the reason why it's 4. So if I take the blue gamma edge, then this is one gamma matching. It is maximal, but the red one is of size 4 and is maximum. So we see that here we have a blue match. My blue gamma matching is a 4 approximation of the red one. And what is interesting is that if we take a gamma edge of if we take a gamma edge of a graph, and that will intersect, that will collision with the blue gamma edge, then we know that it will have to contain one of the blue vertices. So the top vertices of my gamma edge or the bottom vertices of my gamma edge. So we know that if one edge intersects with the blue edge, the blue gamma edge, then it has to contain one of the four blue vertices. And because of this, we can show that this is a four approximation. Any gamma matching is a four approximation. And we can use this ID to provide a two approximation for gamma matching, where we start at the first time, and we will select gamma edges as long as they are available. But the only constraint, the order we use is that we consider the gamma matching that start early in the graph, in the temporal graph. And we do this greedy algorithm. And if we do this, then let's provide an example. I take the red gamma 2 edge. Then I will consider another gamma edge that is consistent. Let's say the green one. Then I go to the next timestamp. I look, there is no gamma edge starting at time 1. So now I'll start looking at time 2. I can find another gamma edge that starts at time 2. And if I proceed like that, then I can show with the same argument that I provide just before, that this gamma matching will be a two approximation. And why? It's because any other gamma edge that we will consider should be either in the gamma matching or touch one of the bot vertices, so the ones that I draw in full. And so as there is only two bot vertices for each gamma edge that I have in my matching, then I can say that I have a two approximation. I will go fast on this because I am lack of time. And I want to also speak about the last result that we had, that is the following. And using the two approximation, we can prove that we can reduce the size of the initial instance. So now I consider the decision problem. I have a temporal graph and I want to know whether there is a gamma matching of size at least k. And if I ask my question like that, what I can do if I polynomial time algorithm, so a kernel, that will reduce my my instance Lk into an equivalent instance L prime k, and L prime will be of size 2 times k minus 1 times 2k minus 1 times gamma square. So roughly k square gamma square. And so my new instance will be of size that does not depend neither of the size of the number of vertices nor of the number of time I have. And for this, what I do is that I run my greedy algorithm that I present. If my greedy algorithm return a value that is at least k, then I can answer yes, because I already have my solution. If it returned a value that is less than k minus 1 over 2, then I can answer 2. I know that my algorithm is a 2 approximation. So if my value is too small, then I know that there is no solution. And otherwise, I will take the solution returned by A, and I will keep some edges, so 2k minus 1 gamma edges incident to each of the gamma edges that I return. I will not say more because I run out of time, and I will just recap what I presented. So gamma matching is NPR. Any maximal gamma matching is a 4 approximation. There exists a 2 approximation for the gamma matching, and a gamma matching is as a kernel of size roughly k square gamma square. And so now the natural question is, what can we do next, and what are the possible continuation for the use of the gamma matching? Thank you for your attention, and I give you back the power.